Chapter 2, Ark Facility 12. Ark Facility 12 stretched deep beneath the Scottish Highlands like a secret somebody had built too big to keep. The upper levels wore the familiar disguises of emergency planning. Dormitories, briefing suites, med bays, logistics corridors, scrubbers, kitchens. The deeper levels dropped the pretense. The air cooled, security thickened, hallways narrowed, doors became heavier. Cameras stopped pretending not to watch. By sub-level 20, almost everyone you passed wore clearance bands, fatigues, or the haunted expression of someone who had read too many documents containing the word continuity. Noah and Theo followed Elara through the corridor. Walter picked up their trail along the way and joined them without asking. Noah was still feeling the absence of the coffee he had abandoned. Theo hurried at his side, suddenly much less pleased with himself than he had been 30 seconds earlier. Walter rolled behind them with brisk mechanical determination, his tiny cowboy hat wobbling every time his wheels corrected direction. Elara moved ahead without looking back. That was one of the things Noah respected about her. She did not perform authority. She did not need to. It gathered around her anyway, in the set of her shoulders, in the speed of her decisions, in the way people stepped aside before she had to ask. Walter's lenses brightened.
Seeing as things are mighty urgent, I reckon I can ride along and keep your spirits up.
What kind of accompaniment?
Give it that wide-open range feel. Not too fast. Let the brass ride tall. Keep the drums easy, and throw in a lonely harmonica now and again.
No.
Walter's side speaker crackled. A lonely harmonica drifted into the corridor. Then came a slow drumbeat. Then, with entirely too much confidence, a triumphant Western guitar joined in.
Oh, that is good.
Right, that's enough. Behave.
Walter reduced the volume by perhaps 3%.
Music can raise morale by up to more than enough to matter.
Walter.
The music cut off mid-twang.
Yes, Commander.
Anything that made Elara Voss move at that pace was worth fearing.
Anything from the other facilities?
Fragmented traffic. Ark 7 reports similar telemetry. Ark 1 is requesting raw data from every orbital observatory still answering.
Tianlong.
Yes.
They'll already have a model running.
I assumed you would be offended by that.
I'm comforted by competence, Commander. I only resent it when it's smug.
Then prepare to be uncomfortable. They sounded very smug.
Theo lifted one finger.
In fairness, if I had a spaceship called the Dragon, I'd be a nightmare.
Heavenly Dragon.
Theo considered that.
Still cooler than our name.
The Last Kingdom is symbolic.
The Last Kingdom sounds like a Sunday night historical drama where everyone's muddy and it rains a lot.
You're thinking of Garden Force.
Theo was too busy constructing his second point.
The Heavenly Dragon sounds like it flies through stars, breathing cosmic blue fire. The Last Kingdom sounds like we lost a vote.
We did not vote.
Exactly.
Noah gave him a warning look. Theo ignored it.
Do you know what Joker Ventura named his ship?
No, but I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
The Starhound.
Of course he did.
Great name. Fast, dangerous, loyal, slightly unhinged.
Are we describing the ship or you?
I contain multitudes.
Walter's speaker clicked softly.
I could rename myself Deputy Starhound to raise pioneer spirits.
That won't be necessary, Deputy Walter.
The group moved quickly through the corridor, 3 sets of footsteps striking the polished floor, while Walter's built-in wheelies clicked and hummed behind them. He had legs, but no real feet. His lower joints ended in compact wheels, giving him the faintly ridiculous look of a robot permanently wearing roller skates. They reached a sealed access door. Elara did not touch it. Her command-tier link hand-shook with the reader before she reached the threshold, and the locks withdrew with a soft, obedient clunk. The entrance opened, and they passed through without slowing. The Ark site had stories about people who had asked too much. A procurement officer who found missing billions and died in a private aircraft malfunction. A systems analyst who sent an encrypted packet to a journalist and vanished before the meeting. A junior minister who objected to family allocation numbers and resigned for health reasons before disappearing from public life. No one at Ark 12 discussed those stories loudly. No one needed to. The documents everyone signed were thick enough to look civilized. The warning behind them was not. They reached Lift Bank C. Beyond the reinforced glass wall beside it, the Ark was visible. Noah always had to remind himself to breathe when he saw it. The last kingdom hung in its cavern cradle, vast enough to confuse perspective. Its dark hull suspended in floodlight and shadow. It did not look finished, not in the way ships looked finished in paintings and recruitment films. Sections of outer plating still bore maintenance scaffolds. Service arms clung to it like insects. Inspection lights crawled across its flank in slow white lines. It looked less like a vessel waiting to launch than a city that had been persuaded, against its better judgment, to become aerodynamic. Theo stared.
Every time I see it, my brain goes, absolutely not.
Walter rolled closer to the glass.
External plating incomplete across visible dorsal sections. Service scaffold still attached to starboard maintenance run. Launch readiness estimate would be...
Don't.
Walter stopped. Elara followed Noah's gaze through the glass.
She'll fly.
Noah heard the certainty in her voice and the effort underneath it.
She will one day. Let's hope we don't have to find out for many years, if ever.
If that day comes, we'll be prepared.
We'd better be.
Theo pointed at the Ark.
I still think she needs a name change. The last Starhound?
Elara looked at him. Theo lowered his hand.
The last kingdom's fine.
The lift doors opened. A small group waited inside. A woman from Biosystems, 2 security officers, and a man in engineering orange dragging on a vape. The vape filled the lift with a purple cloud, smelling aggressively of synthetic berries. Elara stepped in first. She looked at the engineer.
Take another puff while I'm standing in this lift, and I'll personally make sure it's the last thing you do.
The engineer froze. Yes, ma'am. Then he coughed, shuffled sideways, and stepped out. Actually, he said, I'll take the stairs. The doors held long enough for Noah to enter. Theo squeezed in beside him. Walter rolled in last, turned neatly, and parked himself by Noah's shoes. The doors sealed. A low chime sounded.
Sublevel 31.
The lift began its descent. Noah watched the numbers climb as the cabin dropped deeper. 10, 11, 12, 13. He tried not to think about trains. That was the trouble with trying not to think about anything. His mind took the instruction as a challenge. The smell of wet wool on a winter platform, his mother's glove letting go of his hand because she had turned to wave at his father, the announcement board flickering between delayed and cancelled, the police officer's mouth forming the words, "Very sorry." Noah blinked once. The lift walls came back. Elara glanced at him. Only once. Just enough to say she had noticed. Not pity. Never that. Elara was too disciplined for pity, and Noah was grateful for it. What she offered instead was recognition. A brief acknowledgement that the past had reached for him, and that he had pushed it back. That was why he respected her. She saw too much, and wasted none of it. Theo shifted beside him, unusually quiet. Then, because Theo could only survive silence for so long, he looked down at Walter's hat.
You know how hard it is to buy little cowboy hats these days?
It was 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, Sheriff.
I mean, only a handful of collectors had them in stock, and the price.
Worth its weight in gold.
Walter touched his hat to tip it, and only succeeded in making it sit crooked on top of his polished head.
It's a nice hat.
Walter's lenses brightened slightly. The lift chose that exact moment to flicker. At sublevel 22, the lights cut once. Noah looked up. The flicker lasted less than a second, but he felt it in his chest, like a missed step. Then a low vibration passed through the cabin walls. Not a rattle, not a fault. More like the mountain had cleared its throat. The lift stopped. Emergency light strips snapped on in cold white. For half a second, nobody breathed loudly enough to be rude. Then the automated voice crackled overhead. Temporary systems pause. Please remain calm.
Maybe that engineer had the right idea.
The woman from Biosystems lowered her gaze from whatever feed her link had been showing her. One of the security officers muttered that temporary systems pause was a new one. His colleague said the one day he decided to take the lift was, of course, today. He always took the stairs. Theo looked up at the emergency lights. Elara's eyes remained on the doors. Somewhere below them, metal groaned, softly. Just enough for everyone in the lift to decide conversation had been a mistake. The woman from Biosystems whispered, "Are we under attack?" One of the security officers glanced at the ceiling. By who? Elara did not move.
No one knows enough to panic accurately yet.
It was not comforting. It worked anyway. Noah found himself counting seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. He remembered every blackout he had ever sat through, every school fire drill, every time a student had looked at him because the person at the front of the room was supposed to know whether things were safe. 7, 8, 9. Elara still did not move. Somehow, that was more calming than reassurance. She stood as if panic were a weather system she had chosen not to enter. 10. The lights steadied. The lift jolted back into motion, faster this time. Nobody spoke for the rest of the descent. When the doors opened on sub-level 31, the corridor beyond was already moving too quickly. That was how Noah knew. Not the alarms, not the lights, not the vibration in the walls. The pace. People had stopped walking like employees and started moving like survivors with job titles. Security officers ran towards operations. A systems technician nearly collided with Noah, caught herself against the wall, said "Sorry, doctor," and kept going. A warning tone began somewhere deeper in the facility, climbed halfway through its cycle, then cut out. A sealed blast door ahead opened without anyone touching it. Then closed again. The engineer from the lift stepped out beside Noah and stared after the running officers. This a test?
No.
The engineer nodded slowly. Thought not. Noah moved after Elara. Theo followed. Walter's wheels clicked faster against the floor as he kept pace. Ahead, the corridor opened towards Orbital Analysis, and the sound reached them before the room did. Voices? Orders? Data feeds. Someone saying, "That can't be right," in the frightened voice of a person who already knew it was. Noah felt his pulse shift. Because Mara was in there. He hated himself for noticing that before almost anything else. He hated that, even now, even with something impossible hanging above the earth. One part of his mind had separated her name from the crisis and held it somewhere warmer. Mara had asked for him, not the facility.
Whatever this is, she thinks you can see something the rest of us are missing.
Noah looked through the glass. Beyond it, shared wall displays threw pale light across rows of tense faces. Orbital paths curved and multiplied across the main projection. Red markers pulsed where no red markers should have been. And at the center of it all, Mara Ilian stood with both hands braced on a console, blonde hair tied back, eyes fixed upward at the impossible thing above the world.
Dr. Kepler, tell us what we're looking at.
Noah stepped into Orbital Analysis, and the room fell around him like the beginning of the end.